Good evening. Thank you all for joining us. Today we're going to be talking about the 7 best practices of dental internet marketing and how to take advantage of them. My name is Kelly Muldoon, and I actually have a special guest with me here tonight, Dr. McBride, one of my clients. He graciously agreed to doing this webinar with me. I thought he'd be a good contrast to me. He's very experienced. How long have you been a dentist for, Dr. McBride?
Do I have to tell?
I knew you were going to say that. You don't have to, but you can give an idea.
You know, I've been doing this since the early 70s.
Early 70s, very nice. So longer than I've been alive, so very good. Cool. Well, I'm very glad to be here, and I'm very glad to have you here, Dr. McBride. Thank you again for being with us tonight. I really, really appreciate it. I wanted to tell you guys a little bit about him first because he's kind of an interesting case. Dr. McBride is in Long Beach, California, and he's, let's see if I can go to the next one here. Okay, forget it. Doing holistic dentistry, and he can give you kind of a gist of what he does and everything. I'll let him explain. But the reason I have him on is because he is exactly the type of client I'm looking to help. He does a very specialized type of dentistry, and it's very rewarding for me to help him get people to understand what he does and into his practice, so that are pre-qualified and everything. And he'll tell you a little bit about that. I'll ask you about it later, Dr. McBride, okay? But so I'm very happy to have him here today. So let's get started with our webinar, though. Basically, first I want my dentists to always be asking themselves these questions. If they, okay, number one, do you want more targeted patients in your office? Okay. So if the answer is yes, perfect. This is the right webinar for you, okay? Do you want to know where your patients are coming from? Perfect. If that answer is yes, this is exactly where you want to be. Do you want to know how much a new patient costs you? Again, this is exactly where you want to be tonight, okay? So I just grabbed a picture of all these like social media like little squares here. I don't know about you, Dr. McBride, and all of you listening, but I find it very overwhelming, everything out there right now. I do my very best to focus. I obviously have been doing internet marketing solely for 5 years with dentists, and you really have to put blinders on, I have a system that works with my company, and it's very straightforward and logical, and I'll be explaining every step of it tonight. And I just wanted to first start this conversation off talking about how I am basically not all of this stuff. I am, our company is all about, measurable results, and you'll see everything we do is very logical. It's very simple, but it gets results, and you'll see why. It's just very logical, right? So, okay, here's my little slide that I love that I put. Basically, I want you to think about yourself and where you are and who you want to be. Okay, so there's a dentist down here who has no web presence, and then we have a dentist who at least wants to be on the internet. They have a site, but it's probably a brochure site that just kind of talks about what dentistry is when anyone can find that anywhere. Oops. The third type is a dentist that gets leads, maybe 2 to 3 a month, but they're not really sure how much they're coming from. They're probably paying way too much money for the leads coming in, and they probably want more. So the last one, of course, are my clients, the winners. You're one of those, right, Dr. McBride?
I believe so.
Very good. Okay, cool. So I wanted to just give you guys an agenda of what we're going to be talking about tonight. So first, we want to talk about being there when potential patients are searching for your services. Number 2, we want you to make a great impression. 3, and I'll explain how we do this and why. This is just like the outline of what we're going to do. So 3, we want to satisfy all types of patients that come to the site. 4, we want to explain to people why they would use you over anyone else in Long Beach, California, for instance. Okay. 5, we want to get patients to act, and we're going to talk about how to do that and all the stuff we need on our site to make sure that happens. 6, we'll talk about what to offer and why, and we can talk about this a lot. And actually, this is where maybe you could chime in, Dr. McBride, about you know, how you get them to come into the office and stuff like that, and how you get to keep your appointments. Okay.
Yep.
And then 7, we're going to talk about tracking and improving. Okay. So that's our agenda. Please feel free, Dr. McBride, to chime in anytime you have any questions or anything if I'm not being clear enough or whatever.
Sounds good so far.
Okay, good. So number 1, be there when people are searching for you. It's very, very important. So basically, 1 out of 7 billion people are online today. Quite a few, huh? So I can't really argue anymore that people aren't out there using the internet, you know. Basically, the next one is let's look at the traffic sources that we can get people to your website. So all those people are online right now, and these are the ways that we can get people to your site that are on the internet. We want them to get to your website. So you can do pay-per-click, and that's been my expertise for 5 years. You can do it on Yahoo, Bing, which is the new MSN. Google, obviously, that's the big 800-pound gorilla. And we'll talk a little bit about what pay-per-click is if you're not sure. So SEO, and you'll hear this term if you haven't heard it before, but it's called search engine optimization. It's basically designing your site so that the search engines love it. You'll also hear it be called organic search or natural search or free search. Okay. Basically getting your website up on Google on the free side, quote-unquote free side, the left side. Social media, I'm sure you guys have heard a lot about that. This is another way to get people to your site. I like Facebook, for instance, for ads, but I'm not into the whole social media and getting fans and stuff like that. It's just not what my company does. But again, because it's pretty wishy-washy in terms of actual results, and that's why I don't focus on it. Until we can get that all squared away, I'm not going to be offering it to my clients. So the last but not least, direct mail, I'm sure. Have you ever done direct mail before, Dr. McBride?
I tried it years ago. It didn't work too well. Maybe I didn't stick with it long enough. But,
yeah, it definitely works for some people, but I think you're right. I think it's one of those things where you need to give it a little time, and it's costly, I know. So
I think it worked all years ago, but I think now it's moving towards the internet.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, cool. So connect to patients looking for your services. Basically what happens is someone's looking for your services. I need a dentist in Chicago. Here I just put another example, TMJ Dentist in Los Angeles, okay? They put that into Google, and then they see results like this. This is a sequence of events. They need something, they put it into Google, and then they see the results here. So here are the search results in a close-up view of what happened. So Dentist Chicago, here are the results. Basically, these highlighted in blue ads are what we call Google AdWords. It's how Google's made all their money. It's the paid advertising. So this is how I started out with dentists 5 years ago. I started out just by creating and managing their accounts with Google to, like, if someone looks for Dentist Chicago, make sure that their ad is up there and work the whole system with that. So it was a great way, but I learned very quickly that if your website isn't good, you're pretty much doing a dentist a disservice. So I got really into website design, and that's why we'll talk about that further on in the webinar, okay? But this blue highlighted area is, you'll hear it be called pay-per-click, PPC, sponsored links, paid advertising. It's all the part that Google, basically every time someone clicks on one of these ads, Google gets paid, okay? And I will have to do another webinar on how AdWords works, because it's pretty complicated and in depth, like there's lots to talk about. So I'm not going to get into it here, but the main idea is just know that it's pay-per-click, and every time someone clicks on an ad, the dentist pays Google. So it's a bidding system. With Yahoo, you can bid to be position #1, but you can bid high enough. But with Google, they make it a combination. So you have to bid high, but you